Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara, and today we're going to be looking at the ninth house. So super excited to be getting into the ninth house. It is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius and by the planet Jupiter. So it has all things to do with expansion. It's all about expanding your mind, expanding your knowledge, expanding yourself, and expanding circumstances. A lot of the time Jupiter is associated with the planet of luck. So people who are either ruled by the planet Jupiter or have a lot of Sagittarian energy or ninth house energy in their chart, they tend to be known as very lucky. This is because of the fact that they're very optimistic. Okay, so if you have a lot of this ninth house energy in your chart, you're probably going to be someone who's very optimistic. You're going to be very happy-go-lucky. You're going to be very positive. You're going to be very much about, again, taking the days as they come. You know, this sign isn't really too much about, again, like water signs are not too much about like the depth of things, even though they are philosophical. Okay, so Sagittarius is a very philosophical sign. You're probably going to find yourself questioning a lot of the time, why am I here? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of life? And then they set out to go on their quest to basically expand their knowledge. So depending on where you have this ninth house energy in your chart is going to basically tell you where you're going to be expanding your knowledge and in what way. Sometimes this can manifest for some people as higher learning, higher education. They can go off to school, get a master's, PhD, continue learning for their whole life. Okay, they're lifelong students. Or you can do it the more unconventional way, which is you're basically learning through people, through experiences, through circumstances, through different countries. Okay, so people who have a lot of this Sagittarian energy, it's all about travel. Okay, so Sagittarius is long distance travel. So if you have this energy in your chart, you could probably be someone who moves away from home for either school or learning or work, or you could be someone who does international work. Okay, international travel for working for maybe an international company. You could be someone who learns a lot of languages. Okay, this is very Sagittarian as well. Learning new languages, learning new cultures. Depending where you have this energy, let's say it's in your Venus, you could actually manifest a foreign spouse. Okay, so either meeting someone abroad, meeting someone maybe in your country who is from abroad, maybe someone who's a different culture or religion than you. Okay, so this is really the ninth house energy. It's all again about philosophies. You know, basically ninth house is going to create a religion for themselves. Sometimes if it's in the shadow, it could manifest into the shadow aspects of religion where they become overly religious and only about that religion and nothing else. But most of the time Sagittarius is expansive. Okay, so people who do have a lot of the Sagittarian energy, they're going to create their own philosophies about life, and it's going to basically be based off of all the different experiences that they've had. It's going to be all the different experiences that they've had throughout their life. Again, they're probably going to be someone who's interested in traveling from very young. Okay, sometimes, again, Sagittarius, it depends where you have it. If you have it in the moon, they're known to be the bachelor, okay, of the zodiac. So you know, they're not really about commitment. I find though that people who do have a lot of Sagittarian energy in their chart, if they do find something that they really like or enjoy and they commit to that, they excel. Okay, so they excel at that one thing because they are in opposition to Gemini. They're going to have a hard time finding that one thing, again, because they're going to be interested in this and that and all these things, and they're going to be constantly gathering knowledge. But as soon as they do pick that one thing that they're good at, they actually do excel at it. They become the best at it. Okay, that's very Sagittarian energy. I've seen a lot of musicians, even athletes, okay, have a lot of the Sagittarius energy in their chart. Okay, because Sagittarius, again, it's half human, half centaur. Okay, so it's a mythological creature, basically, right? So it's the first one in the zodiac that isn't an actual animal or you know, living being on the earth plane. So if you look at it this way, they're always going to be half in the clouds, half on the earth plane. This is how they operate. Okay, they're going to be half basically, you know, not so much like, it's not so much like Pisces where they're constantly in their minds and constantly, you know, out to lunch kind of energy where they're like just imagining things and fantasizing. It's not so much that. It's just like they're operating kind of between the two planes, and they're going to be very good at manifesting for this reason. Okay, because again, they might be able to take a very simple approach to something that they have maybe thought of in their minds. Okay, but this is really Sagittarian energy. Sagittarius is all about, again, expansion. So it's about expanding yourself as a person. People who have a lot of this energy in their chart, they're probably going to be interested in teaching, okay, because they spend a lot of their lives. It's interesting it's coming through as lives, but they spend a lot of their life basically gathering and collecting knowledge, and later on in life they're going to be the ones who are teaching, who are going to be delivering, right? If you look again also at secondary progressions, it's interesting to see because up until the Saturn return 27, 28, 29, you're going to be in the ninth house, depending again on the degrees and all that stuff in your chart. It's different for everyone's chart. You can always look up your secondary progressions online. And then after your Saturn return, for a lot of people, you move into your secondary progressions, and then you're going to be going out of the 9th into the 10th. So you're going to basically take all this knowledge that you've accumulated and now go teach it. Okay, you're going to be teaching it in one way, shape, or form. This could come through in many different ways. You know, people who have a lot of Sagittarian energy could be interested again in learning a lot of different things. They could be, you know, someone who maybe got a degree in school, went off to become a fitness instructor, then wanted to be a dance instructor, all these sorts of things, right? So it's all to do with learning, education. It doesn't have to be the conventional, you know, linear path of just going off to do master's, PhD, although it could manifest for some people in that way. But for other people, it could just literally be different things that they're interested in. You know, they're because they bounce off of Gemini, they don't want to be bored. Okay, so that's a huge thing with the sign. They don't want to be bored. They want to constantly be stimulated. It's very, again, about the mind. Okay, it's very much about the intellect, and they're fiery because they're a fire sign. Okay, so they're fiery. They're going to be like going here and here and here and here and bouncing all over the place, and you might have a hard time grasping them. You know, maybe if you have a son or a daughter or a child who is a Sagittarius, you're never going to know where they are. Okay, because they're going to have a lot of friends. Okay, that's another thing too. They're going to have a lot of friends from a lot of different walks of life, and they're always going to be doing something with their friends. Okay, they're going to be like, where did you go? Or you just came home, now you're going to hang out with this other friend. That's kind of like that Sagittarian energy. You're never really going to know where they are because they're always bouncing all over the place. Okay, but they're very likable. They're going to be very likable by people around them. People are going to be really drawn to them. Okay, even from a young age, they're probably going to carry a lot of wisdom within them, again, because of all of this knowledge, because they're open to it. Okay, they really are open to it. They want to learn, and they're constantly going to be learning from other people. Okay, so again, you know, if you have a lot of the Sagittarian energy in your chart, it could manifest as maybe you interested in things like international relations or just foreign cultures, or like I said, languages, all these sorts of things. Basically anything that helps you learn from a different person's perspective or their walk of life. Okay, because it's interesting, even when we do learn languages, you're basically going to see that like certain words have different meanings even though it's the same word. So that's a beautiful thing about language. So that's really Sagittarian. They're going to want to travel a lot. Okay, they're going to need to change their environments all the time. You know, if they're stuck in a place for too long, they're probably going to get bored. So it's important not to fall into the shadow of creating drama for yourself, okay? Because again, they bounce off the Gemini energy because they are oppositions. Oppositions bounce off each other. So it's really important not to fall into dramas, you know, because you're bored with the everyday routine, because Sagittarius basically doesn't want this. They don't want routines. Sagittarius energy, also, I completely forgot to mention, this is a huge thing about Sagittarian energy, is freedom. Okay, so that's the name of the game for them. They want to be free. So basically whatever allows them to be free in whatever way, shape, or form, they're going to be chasing that. So a lot of the time you'll notice people have a lot of Sagittarius energy in their chart. They're going to be entrepreneurs. I've seen that a lot with Generation Z. They have Pluto in Sag. Okay, predominantly it rules that generation. So a lot of them already have that natural entrepreneurial spirit to them. Okay, so that's a huge thing with the Sagittarius energy. You'll see people who have a lot of Sag energy in their chart. They want to be entrepreneurs, or they're going to be self-employed in one way, shape, or form because they want that freedom. Okay, so if they're in any sort of circumstance that basically tries to hold them down in any way, shape, or form, they're going to leave. And this also includes relationships. Okay, so let's say you're dating someone who has a moon in Sag, you need to allow them to have the emotional freedom. Okay, so, or you, if you have a moon in Sag, okay, so even though they are known to be the bachelors of the zodiac, if they are able to basically manifest someone for themselves or date someone who allows them to have emotional freedom, to be free, to be able to go do their thing and come back with a huge, you know, unlimited energy of trust there for them, then they're going to be able to commit to that person. Otherwise, you know, other signs, if they basically try to hold on to them, they're not going to be able to be in dynamics with them. So this is the same thing for Venus and Sag. Okay, so for people who do have a lot of Venus and Sagittarius energy, they're again going to be striving for that freedom, that emotional freedom. And if they don't get it in a relationship, they're going to leave. Okay, because again, freedom is the key, the name of the game for them. They really want to be important. It's really important for them to be free. For the Sagittarius energy, it's really important for them to be able to be free in one way, shape, or form, whether that is in work, whether that's in friendships, whether that is in a relationship. So you'll see, okay, you'll see that with especially people who have moon in Sag, because again, they're known to be the bachelor moon, but if they're able to find someone who is, again, allowing them to be free, to be themselves, to be trusting. So probably water moons or water signs aren't going to mesh well with Sagittarius energy, because the water's kind of like, I want you to myself, right? And that's just the water energy, whereas Sag just wants to go and come back, go and come back, go and come back. And, you know, there's a huge energy that's needed of trust with a sign to basically allow them to be themselves, to be free, to be able to wander off off, but have the trust that they're going to come back, okay, especially in relationships, okay? So this is really, you know, the Sagittarian energy, but same thing with friendships. If you have someone who is a Sagittarius, you know, Sagittarius are a lot of fun, okay? They're fun, they are very positive, they're very optimistic, they're going to be fun to have around, okay? They want to keep things light, okay? They want to keep things lighthearted. They're probably not going to want to, again, you know, get into things that are heavy. They don't want to talk about heavy things. They just want things to be light. Again, depends on the rest of their chart. Let's say they have a lot of water in their chart and maybe a few Sag placements. They might act more like a water sign. It depends on the person's chart, and it depends on the energy in the chart, but this is really Sagittarius energy. They need to be free, okay? So they really need to have any sort of freedom, whether that's through work, whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that is in a relationship, whether, again, it's the freedom to have a lot of different friend groups. In relationships, they might date around, okay? And again, keeping things surface level because they want to learn. This is also a huge thing with Sag, is that they want to learn. They want to expand. They want to grow themselves. And for some of them, it could be through relationships and learning other people and basically learning through these people what makes them operate, what makes them tick, all these sorts of things. They gather all the knowledge and then they kind of move on to the next thing. So, you know, if you're involved with or know someone, or maybe you yourself have a Sagittarius stellium or a ninth house stellium, you basically are going to want to be free. And, you know, if you have someone in your life who does have this stellium and they kind of leave and come back and leave and come back, maybe there's an inconsistent energy with them, you have to allow them, okay? It's basically the energy with that. You have to allow them to be that. So like, let's say if you who's tuning in are into someone who is Sagittarian and you constantly want someone to be there, you know, 24/7, you can't really expect that out of Sagittarius energy, because they're constantly, again, going to be learning and growing and expanding in whatever way, shape, or form. Is just part of their, I guess you could say, dharma, their life path, okay, their destiny, their life purpose on this earth plane is to come here and to expand, probably because in a past life, if you have a lot of this Sagittarian energy, you probably didn't get the chance to expand in one way, shape, or form. Maybe you had other responsibilities, maybe you had things that held you down, so the soul incarnates in this lifetime to allow themselves to expand. So you'll notice people have a lot of this energy in their chart. Either they are in circumstances that allow them to expand, okay, energetically, or they create it for themselves. So it could be, you know, within maybe your town, okay, you can maybe go on short drives or trips or whatever it is to switch up the energy, but Sagittarius is always going to want to leave. So Sagittarius is always going to want to leave. They're going to basically succeed most when they're out of the place that they've grown up in, is really what that is. And they're going to move around. I don't really see, you know, Sagittarius as a sign wanting to have a certain, you know, home base that's permanent for them. They're going to have an area that's kind of like they can come back to that, but they're going to move around in the meantime. Okay, they're going to move around because they're gathering knowledge, or they're gathering experiences, and that's how they learn. That's really how they learn. You know, a lot of the time, again, it depends on the person's charts, okay, it depends on the other placements in the charts, but again, you know, I wouldn't say that they have as much of a short attention span as Geminis are, because they're oppositions bounce off each other. Gemini is more scattered, they're more youthful in that way. Sagittarius, you've kind of gone through a lot of the signs to get to Sagittarius already, so they have a little bit more wisdom within them, but they're still going to be very much, again, inconsistent in a way, but it's just who they are. It really is. It's just who they are. They're going to be learning different things. And again, people who have a lot of the Sagittarian energy in their chart, they probably might change their career paths several times in their life, okay? Because it's kind of like they do things, they master them, they conquer them, and then it's on to the next thing. So it's kind of like they're going to be in things as long as it retains their attention, and it depends how long it's going to retain their attention for. Is really the Sagittarian energy. For some people, it could be for their whole life. Okay, it really could be for their whole life. Like I said, there's a lot of musicians who have had Sagittarian energy in their chart and they've been very successful because, again, once Sagittarius hones in that energy, they're going to be really good at whatever it is that they do pick, but it might take a while for them to actually pick that. And again, up until their first Saturn return, they're probably going to be very scattered, okay, because it's that new energy. You're new, you know, you're on this earth plane, you're excited, you want to learn all these things, you want to maybe collect as many certifications that you can. It could be so many different things. You could be interested in learning a lot of different languages, all these sorts of things. Okay, this is really Sagittarian energy. They're going to be gathering knowledge, and then when they kind of get to a certain place, they're then going to be teaching. Okay, so this is a huge thing with Sagittarius. If you have a lot of this, again, 9th house Sagittarius, I'm kind of using them interchangeably in your chart. This is really the name of the game for you. So you spend a lot of your time learning, okay, whatever it is that you're interested in learning, and then you're going to be teaching later on. That's Jupiter, because you're expanding. You spend a lot of time expanding yourself, and then you go off to expand other people and their minds in whatever way, shape, or form. Okay, for some people, it could be, again, creating a completely new belief system for themselves. you know, straying away from the everyday religions and all these sorts of things. It could be that as well. And this is pretty much Sagittarius. So a fun energy, very expansive, very happy-go-lucky, very positive, all about freedom. Okay, all about freedom. All about freedom is really what this ninth house and Sagittarius energy is about. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.